Good evening, children.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good
Good evening,
evening,
children.
ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, children. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. All right, children. Let's pick up from where we stopped. Before that, let's have a recap of the last one which we did at the last class. I think I'm showing you the correct slide. I've
Yes,
shared
ma'am.
my screen, children. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Visible.
Yes,
Yeah. Please tell me, is this the one which we last finished in the earlier class?
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, children. So we understood that a histogram is a graphical representation of a grouped frequency distribution. A histogram is a graphical representation of a group meaning class intervals of a grouped frequency distribution. But it's important before you make the histogram, it's important that the class intervals are continuous. But they're already continuous. In this particular distribution, you can see here 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25. When you read the class intervals, you understand that they are continuous. There is no break. So like 25 to 30, it continues from 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80. But the thing is, in this particular distribution, the class size is not uniform. Uniform meaning all the class intervals do not have the same class width. A histogram is a graphical representation of a grouped frequency distribution. It's important to put up the histogram. It's important that the class intervals are continuous. In this particular distribution, the class intervals are continuous. But we see that the class width is not the same everywhere. The class width is not the same everywhere. So the class width of the first class interval is 5 and the next one is 5, the next one 5, 5, 10, 20, 20. So we have 3 different sizes. So the change we have to make with this frequency distribution is that we need to find the adjusted frequencies all pertaining to the class width 5. The smallest class size is 5. The smallest class size is 5. So we are trying to find the frequencies pertaining to the size 5. You don't have to change the class intervals. The frequencies will change. And for that, we understood this formula in the last class. We understood this in the last class. To find the new frequency, these are the given class intervals, and these are the frequencies. We're going to find. We're going to prepare another column with the heading adjusted frequency. We're going to have another column with the heading adjusted frequency. And the formula, we understood this formula in the last class, children. The formula to find the adjusted frequency is minimum class size. Minimum class size. So here we have 3 different sizes, 5, 10 and 20. The minimum class size is 5. So that will come here. By the class size, by whatever is the class size of that class interval, into the frequency of the class, into the frequency of that class interval, will give you the new frequency. Minimum class size by the actual class size into the frequency.
Ma'am?
Yes?
Ma'am, I had network problems and now I joined only.
Okay. We were just trying to recall what we understood about histogram in the last class.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. We just started with the question which you can see now on your screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we finished this in the last class. We were just trying to recall what we understood.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, if you have any questions related to this, you can ask me, because the next one will be a test. A similar
Yes,
one.
ma'am.
Yeah. So children, if now when you take up the first class interval, the class size is 5. So though you use the formula, you will get the same frequency because the class size is 5 already. The minimum size, the size you want is 5 and the class size is 5 already. So you will get the same frequency. Even if you use the formula, you will get the same frequency. See here also the class size is 5. So the frequency 9 will come as it is. Though we just compute for the sake of a formality, we just use the formula and compute it just for the sake of formality. You can see that the same frequency happens. Yeah, and then you know how to put up the histogram. Yes, children, I'm just showing you the slide so that you can ask me any questions if you have. The next one is a similar question, which is a test. Okay, so here we go. Draw a histogram for the marks of students given below. So two questions to be answered before we actually start to prepare the histogram. Are the class intervals continuous? 0 to 10.
No, ma'am.
I'm trying to read them. 0 to 10, 10 to see. If you pick up from where you stopped, that means they are continuous. 0 to 10, you stop at 10. You're picking up from there. 10 to 30, 30 to 45. In what sense are they not continuous? They are continuous, no? You're picking up from where you stopped. See, 0 to 10, you stop at 10. Then you pick up from there, 10 to 30, 30 to 45. 45
I told the class intervals, ma'am.
Okay, I was talking about if the class intervals are continuous or not. Children, are the class intervals continuous?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the class intervals are continuous. Yeah, 0 to 10, 10 to 30, 30 to 45, 45 to 50, and 50 to 60. They are continuous. Do they have the same? Is the class size uniform?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, what is the class size of the first class interval?
10, ma'am.
10, ma'am.
Second class interval, very good. Second class interval,
20.
20.
20. Third class interval,
5.
15.
15. 15. Fourth class interval,
5.
5.
5. And the last class interval,
10.
10.
so see, we have varying class sizes. The class size, also called the class width or the magnitude of a class interval, all mean the same. Magnitude of a class interval, class size, class width, all mean the same. So we see that the class, width is not the same everywhere, which means we need to, before you put the histogram, you need to prepare one extra column, not one extra column. You need to ignore these frequencies and construct another frequency column with the heading adjusted frequency. And you need to go ahead preparing the histogram with the given class intervals and the adjusted frequencies. Yes, children, please do it.
Ma'am, do we need to send a pic of this graph, ma'am?
I'll tell you. Yeah, we have some new students in the class. I'll tell you. You start preparing the graph. I'll tell you.
Only arrange or also do the part.
1 second. Yeah.
Ma'am,
What's that?
arrange or you must also do the bar graph, ma'am.
No. This is a histogram, not a bar graph, and we don't make bar graphs for frequency distributions. Draw a histogram. taken the question, children? I need to change the slide.
No, ma'am. Just a minute, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. Yes, Neha, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please take down this question, Neha. Or maybe you can use this question as a reference to make the histogram. Just give it a try.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Have you taken down this question? No, it's not this. I'm sorry. No, it's not this one. Sorry. Yeah, this one.
No, ma'am.
Neha, please take down question number 4. I'll show you question number 3 as a reference slide. Just try your best. We'll see if we can make it.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
No, ma'am. I just want you to tell that change the slide, ma'am. Fourth one.
Oh.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now here is a reference question and answer. You can just, the question which you have with you, question number 4, is similar to this one, is similar to question number 3. Find this column, adjusted frequency column. Minimum class sizes, as we discussed. Neha, so 15 minus, this is a class interval. 10 to 15 is a class interval. All right. 10 to 15 is a class interval wherein.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, 10 is the lower class limit and 15 is the upper class limit. For now, you just understand this 15 minus 10, 5 is the class size. Here, 20 minus 15, 5 is the class size. 60 minus 40, 20 is the class size.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, fill it in this formula, minimum class size. So here in this distribution, the minimum class size is 5. So 5 divided by the class size of that class interval. The class size of that class interval into the frequency of that class interval.
Yes, ma'am.
Just put it in that formula and get the new frequencies.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, could you please show the next slide, ma'am? I mean, fourth question.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, finish copying, ma'am.
Yeah, wait. Done, children?
Going to complete now.
Okay.
Ma'am, no, ma'am.
Shivani, tell me the frequencies, Shivani. What are the adjusted frequencies?
Ma'am, can I say, ma'am?
Pranav,
Can I say?
Pranav?
Ma'am,
Yes.
second, ma'am.
Ma'am, 4,
Yeah.
8. Ma'am, 4, 8, 6, 10, and 3, ma'am.
Correct. Correct, Pranav. Children, the adjusted frequencies are 4, 8, 6, 10, and 3. I hope you all got it. Yes, Shivani, please complete it. No issues.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. So what's the class size of the first class interval, children? What are
Ma'am,
the
10,
different
ma'am.
sizes we have? What are the different
10, ma'am.
sizes we have? 10,
20,
Ma'am, 10,
10,
20,
20,
20,
15,
15, 5.
5 and 20.
10.
10,
Sorry,
What's
5
the
and 10, ma'am.
what's the minimum size?
5,
0,
ma'am.
ma'am.
5 is the minimum size.
5, ma'am. 5.
5 is the minimum size.
5,
So the minimum size is 5 by the size of that class interval into the frequency will give you the adjusted frequency. The minimum size 5 divided by the size of that class interval. Now for this class interval it is 10, for this it is 20. So 5 divided by the size of that class interval into this frequency will give you the adjusted frequency. All right, I gave you some time to think. Now you can see the answer.
Ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am, for me network issue, can I leave and rejoin, ma'am?
yes, yes, please. So children, you know that you have to take the markings, on the class intervals along the x-axis. So I told you use a 7 like this. So you can see 0, 10, 30, 45, 50 and 60. And they are exactly the values which you see on the x-axis here. But I also told you one thing, children. This is the origin. This is the origin. Now the first centimeter is marked 10. The second centimeter is 20. They have skipped that. The next one is 30. You can mark 20 if you want. But here what you see on the x-axis is strictly these values 0, 10, 30, 45, 50 and 660. I don't know if you remember the 7 I was telling you. So like this, see the 7 like this. Or in other words, you should take all the upper limits and the 0. 0, the 0 here and all these upper limits. Like this, all these numbers. So they are the numbers which you see on the x-axis. You can see 0, you can see 10, 30, 45, 50 and 60. You can see only those markings on the x-axis. But it is done to scale. The marking is done to scale. Please listen. So this is 0. The next centimeter on your graph is marked 10. The next centimeter is 20. It's not shown here, that's all, because you don't need it. Then after that, the next centimeter is marked 30. Then children, the next centimeter is marked 40, but which you don't see. 40 to 50, that middle one is marked 45. This is 10. There is 20 here. It's not marked. 30. There is 40 here. The next centimeter is 40. It's marked. It's not marked here, but that is 40. The next centimeter is 50. Between 40 and 50, that middle one is 45. 50 and the next one is 60. So please mark as we always mark. X-axis. Every centimeter is marked. Every centimeter is marked in multiples of 10. Just that you don't see the numbers which are not needed. And along the y-axis, you can see the frequencies. You have 3, 4, 6, 8 and 10. So on the y-axis, 1 centimeter is equal to 2 units. 2 units. So every centimeter is, marked in multiples of 2. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10. The first centimeter is marked 2. The next centimeter is marked 4 and then 6 and then 8 and then 10. And the height of each bar will be equal to the value of the frequency. So 0 to 10. So 0 to 10. The height of this bar will be 4. Then 10 to 30. The height of the bar is 8. 10 to 30. The height of the bar is 8. So it's here 10. 10 to 30. The height of the bar is, or the height of the rectangle is 8. Then 30 to 45. 30 to 45. The height of the rectangle is 6. The height of the rectangle is 6. Please proceed like this. So to make a histogram, the class intervals have to be continuous. That is one thing. And if the class size is not uniform, then you need to find the adjusted frequencies. Completed all of you?
Yes, ma'am. I sent.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Both, ma'am.
All right, yeah.
Ma'am, should I want to send it in WhatsApp?
No, Shivani.
Okay, ma'am.
So we have seen these two types so far. Children, see here. So here we've already completed this. We're just going back to recall what we've seen so far. So here we have a frequency distribution. where the class intervals are continuous and the class size is uniform. 50 to 55, 55 to 60, 60 to 65, 65 to 70, goes on like that, 85 to 90. You can see that the class intervals are continuous. The class intervals are continuous. There's no break. 50 to 55. Pick up from there. 55 to 60. Pick up from there. 60 to 65. Okay. So the class intervals are continuous. Also, the class size or the class width or the magnitude of the class intervals is uniform. It's uniform. Every class interval has the same size. Every class interval has the same size or the same width. Just a minute, children. Just a minute. Yes, children. So the class size is the same everywhere. So two things, the class intervals are continuous and the size is the same everywhere, which means you don't have to make any change to the given frequency distribution. The frequency distribution is ready for a histogram to be prepared. So this is the usual thing. No changes here. No changes have to be made. Then we saw one like this, where the class intervals are continuous, but the class size is not uniform. So then the need to prepare a new column, an additional column, not an additional column, sorry, a new column with the heading adjusted frequency arises. When the class size, it's continuous, the class intervals are continuous, but the size is not uniform. Then we need to prepare this column adjusted frequency, find the new frequencies, use these frequencies to prepare the histogram. Now here in this question, construct a histogram from the following distribution of total marks obtained by 65 students of 9th class in the final examination. Marks, these are the midpoints. These are not the class intervals. These are the midpoints. And here the frequencies, which is a number of students. Marks, these are the mid values of the class intervals, midpoints, mid values of the class intervals. What is the other word for midpoint of a class interval? What is that other word, other term that represents the midpoint of a class interval?
Class mark.
Yes, class mark. Class mark. Class mark meaning the midpoint of a class interval. So children, we know that we need the class intervals. We need the frequencies and the class intervals to, to prepare a histogram. We don't have the class intervals here. So here we have to prepare the class intervals and then put up the histogram. Now, how do you find out the class intervals? We have seen that earlier. Given the midpoints, how do you find out the class intervals?
Ma'am, upper limit plus lower limit by 2, ma'am.
No, that's not the answer to my question. No. How do we find? How do we find the class intervals? We have the midpoint of the class intervals. How do we find the class intervals?
Ma'am, A plus 150 plus 65 divided by 2, ma'am.
A plus?
A 65, ma'am.
Okay.
Divide by 2 is equal to the.
So what are you getting?
I want to make.
No response. All right, children. So find the difference between any two consecutive class marks. So let's begin like this. 160 minus 150. 160 minus 150 is 10. 170 minus 160, 10. 180 minus 170, 10. 190 minus 180, 10. 200 minus 190, 10. So the class, we don't know the class intervals, but the class intervals have a uniform size of 10, of magnitude 10. The difference between any two consecutive class marks is the same, 10, 10, 10 everywhere, which means the class intervals have the same size. The class intervals have the same size. Now the difference is 10. Divide by 2. 10 by 2, 5. Subtract 5 from 150. Add 5 to 150 to get the corresponding lower limit and the upper limit. Step 1, 160 minus 150. You can subtract, you can find the difference between any two consecutive class marks. Anything. So 200 minus 120 and 190 is 10, 10, it's 10 everywhere. So 10 is the number. Keep that in the mind. Now 10 divided by 2, always divide by 2. Always divide by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Now this number 5, when you subtract from all these numbers, you will get the corresponding lower limit. When you add 5 to all these numbers, you will get the upper limits. Now, for example, take up the first class mark 150. Subtract 5, 145. That's the lower limit. Add 5, 155. That's the upper limit. So the first class interval is 145 to 155. Let's do another one. 160 is the class mark. The number is 5. Subtract 5. 160 minus 5. 155. That's the lower limit of the second class interval. 160 plus 5. 165. So 155 to 165 is the second class interval. So like that, go on to prepare the class intervals and then you are ready. You have the class intervals and the frequencies, put up the histogram. So it is like this. 160 minus 150 is 10. 10 by 2 is always find the difference like this and divide by 2. So now here the number is 5. Subtract to get the lower limit, add to get the upper limit. Let's complete this, children. And we show this. What is this called? What is this one called?
Kink.
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 Kink. K-I-N-K. Kink. Indicating the big leap from 0 to 145. We are jumping from 0 to 145. So it's not uniform. It's not to scale there. So we show the break like that. Yes, class, use the emoji. Raise your hands. Satvika, Deepika, Shivani, Sangamitra, Hitesh, Kanishka, Shreyas, Ananya, Arav, Nikita, Tarun, Pranav, Vasudevan, okay. Neha and Pratiksha, are you there? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Neha?
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. All right, children. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, please continue. Completed, children?
Going to.
Okay. Yes, children, it's time. So here we are not given the class intervals. Instead, we are given the class marks. So with the help of the class marks, we need to construct the class intervals. Construct meaning prepare the class intervals. Find out the class intervals. And the procedure is find the difference between any two consecutive class marks. So 170 minus 160 is 10. Don't take the negative difference, children. It's not it's not 160 minus 170. 170 minus 160. 10. Always divide by 2. 5. Keep that value in your mind. 5. So to get the first class interval, take the first class mark, subtract 5. So 150 minus 5, 145 is the lower class limit. And to 150, if you add 5, you will get the upper class limit of the first class interval. So proceed like that. Once you get all the class intervals, you have the frequencies. The class intervals are continuous. They have the same size. So put up the histogram. And the kink is because, and the values that we need to show along the x-axis. The values that we need to show along the x-axis are 145, 155, 165, 175, 185, 195, and 205. These are the values you need to show along the x-axis. So since you want to jump from 0 to 145, you're not going to show 5, 15, 25, 35, 45. You're not going to show all of them. So since you're jumping from 0 to 145, you need to show this kink. this break. And along the y-axis, 1 centimeter is here taken as 4 units. This is the mid value, 2. This is 2. 1 centimeter is 4 units. And the mid value, the number in between 0 and 4 is 2 here. 4 and 8 is 6 here. 8 and 12 is 10 here, and so on. Y-axis 1 centimeter, 4 units. You can even take 2. You can even take 2 units. 1 centimeter, 2 units. So when we take 1 centimeter, 4 units, children, how will you mark 7?
Ma'am, between 4 and 8, ma'am.
Between 4 and 8 is not 7, no? Between 4 and 8 is 6. Okay, it will come between 4 and 8. Yeah, that's
a
right.
unit below 8.
4, 8, below 8, ma'am.
So it will be if you want it to be very, very accurate, then see, graph has its own disadvantage. Not always can you represent it accurately. So if you can take scale 2 along the y-axis, 1 centimeter is equal to 2 units. Then you can show every rectangle, perfectly to its height. Now, when you take 4, between 4 and 8 is 6. Between 6 and 8 is 7. So you understand? You should identify that line between no, what was I telling you? I said for 7, it will be between 4 and 8. Between 4 and 8 is 6. The line in the middle is 6. The line that goes in the middle is 6. 4, 6, 8. This is 6. Between 6 and 8 is 7. 6, 7, 8. Between 6 and 8 is 7. Now 25. Between 24 and 28, that line which runs in the middle, between 24 and 28, that will be 26. That will be 26. 24 and 28 will be 26. So 25 will be between 24 and 26. This is 26. Between 24 and 26 here will be 25. So 8 can be found directly. 10 is between 8 and 12. Between 8 and 12. This is 10. Going by this scale, children, 1 centimeter, 4 units. The middle line here will be 2. Between 0 and 4 will be 2. 8, you can find it directly. 10, 10 will be between 8 and 12. 8, 10, 12. So that middlemost line will be 10. 25. 25 will be between 24 and 28 will be 26. 26. So the line between 24 and 26 will be 25 here. 12, you can see it directly. 3, between 0 and 4 is 2. Between 0 and 4 is 2. So between 2 and 4 will be 3. Yeah. If you have taken 1 centimeter, 2 units along the y-axis, that will be more convenient. So when the class intervals were continuous, but the class size was not uniform, we had to find adjusted frequencies. Then in another case, we were given the class marks or the mid values, wherein we had to find the class intervals. Now here's a different one. The following table presents the number of illiterate females in the age group 10 to 34 in a town. Draw a histogram to represent the above data. Are the class intervals continuous, children?
No, ma'am.
They are not continuous because 10 to 14 is the upper limit, but we don't continue with 14. 15 to 19. It's not 19 to something, it's 20 to 24. So you can see there's a break, it's not continuous. We are not picking up from where we start. We said 10 to 14, we stopped at 14. We must pick up from 14 to something, but no, 10 to 14, we leave it there. Then 15, fresh, 15 to 19, 20 to 24, 25 to 29. So clearly the class intervals are not continuous. Clearly the class intervals are not continuous. But to put up a histogram, the class intervals have to be continuous. Otherwise, you know, the rectangles will not stick to one another. When there's a gap 10 to 14, and then if the next rectangle is 15 to 19, how will the rectangles stick to one another? When the class intervals are not continuous, you're not supposed to make the histogram with the discontinuous class intervals. You need to make the class intervals continuous. You need to make the class intervals continuous. When the class intervals are not continuous, we have to make the class intervals continuous. How do we do that? So take up any two consecutive class intervals, children. Take up any two. So say 10 to 14 and 15 to 19. Supposing we consider the class intervals 10 to 14 and 15 to 19. Any two. You can take up any two consecutive. So 10 to 14 and 15 to 19. What is the lower limit of the second class interval? See, we are talking about these two. We have taken up these two class intervals. So what is the lower limit of the second class interval?
15, ma'am.
15. What is the upper limit? Yeah. What is the upper limit of the first class interval?
14, ma'am.
14.
What is the difference?
1, ma'am.
Divide by 2.
Half.
As a decimal?
0.5.
0.5, ma'am.
0.5. Yeah, 0.5. Correct. 0.5. Now what we have to do is to make the class interval. Let's do that again. Let's do that again. You can take up many other two consecutive class intervals, say 25 to 29 and 30 to 34. Okay, look at this. Look at the second one. So 25 to 29, 30 to 34. Take up the second one. What's the lower limit?
Ma'am, 30.
Upper limit of the earlier class interval?
I'm 29.
29.
Difference?
1 by 2 is 0.5, ma'am.
Difference is 1. You're going ahead. The difference is 1. When you divide by 2, the value is 0.5. Now that 0. So put that value in your mind, 0.5. Now this value 0.5 should be subtracted from all the lower limits and must be added to all the upper limits. This value 0.5 must be subtracted from all the lower limits, and must be added to all the upper limits. So let's just do the first one. So 10 minus 0.5, 9.5. 2, 14 plus 0.5, 14.5. So you do that yourself, children, so that you understand. Let me just show you the solution slide. So this is what you get when you subtract 0.5 from all the lower limits and add 0.5 to all the upper limits. Now the class intervals are continuous. And this is how you put up the histogram. There's a kink. There's a kink because again, when it is not to scale, 0 to 9.5, when it is not to scale, you show the kink. Are we doing it, children?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I think along the y-axis you can go with 100, 200, 300. Every centimeter is equal to 100 units. Every centimeter is 100 units. 100, 200. Then tell me, how will you read the lines between 0 and 100, children? Take my question correctly. Now, if on the y-axis, our scale is 1 centimeter is equal to 100 units. 1 centimeter, 100 units. So we mark like this: 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, and so on. But we need to show up to 1000 because 980 is the tallest rectangle. So up to 1000. Now, children, I want you to tell me, how will you read every subdivision between 0 and 100? There will be 9 markings between 0 and 100. How will you read every marking? Between 0 and 100, that 1 centimeter. Between that 1 centimeter, there will be 9 markings. So after 0, how will you read the next one?
100 by 10, ma'am.
Yeah.
We divide, we get
Correct. 100 by 10 is what?
10, ma'am.
10. So every subdivision is counted in multiples of 10. So 0, after 0, 10. Then the next one is 20. Then 30, 40. The middlemost is 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And then we get 100 at 1 centimeter. Please check that with your graph, if you understand. As Kanishka rightly said, we have discussed this earlier, children, which is why I did not mention. But I just thought I'll ask you. when the scale, when we take 1 centimeter as 100 units, how do we read every subdivision? Whatever is the scale, 1 centimeter, 100 units, 100 divided by 10, always by 10, is 10. So now this is 0. So the next subdivision is 10. The next is 20. The next one is 30. The next one is 40. The middlemost is 50. Then 60, 70, 80, 90, and at 1 centimeter, you will have 100. So now if you have to read between 400 and 500, after 400 is 410. Skip in tens. 410, then 420, 430. Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
for 0 to 200, mid value will be 100, no, ma'am?
Correct. Yeah, 100. The middlemost line will be 100. If you have taken the scale 1 centimeter, 200 units, then 200 by 10. Always divide by 10. 200 by 10 is 20. So then every small division or every subdivision will be counted in 20s. So if you have to count between 200 and 400, it will be 200, 220. Put out 9 fingers. So 200, 220, 200 is 200 you would have marked here at 1 centimeter. The next one will be 220, 240, 260, 280. Middlemost is 300. Then 320, 340, 360, 380, and 400. Scale 1 centimeter, 20 units. I'm sorry, 200 units. 200 by 10 is 20. So skip count in 20s. Every subdivision in 20s. So when the class intervals are not continuous, we make them continuous and then prepare the histogram. So as always, we need to show these values on the x-axis: 9.5, 14.5, 19.5, 24.5, 29.5, and 34.5. Now you might have a doubt how much space to leave here. This break, that's irrelevant. You can leave 1 centimeter in the front or 2 centimeters. That's okay. Don't worry about where should I mark 9.5. Should I mark 9.5 at 1 centimeter or at the 2nd centimeter or at the 3rd centimeter? Just show a kink like this. And maybe if the 1st centimeter is very close, leave that and start marking from the 2nd centimeter. That's okay. Or if you've shown the kink like very little like this here, and your 1st centimeter itself is available, then you can mark 9.5 there. If you think the 1st centimeter is not available, you've shown the ups and downs till 1 centimeter, then leave that. The 2nd centimeter, you mark 9.5. Then continue from there. If you feel I'm not clear, children, you have to ask me questions. I've tried to tell you everything, but just in case I have not mentioned something, please ask me whatever your question is. Completed this one? Shall we move on?
Ma'am, no, ma'am.
What about that? Okay. Others?
Done, ma'am.
Okay.
Done, ma'am.
All right. Yeah, this you can do it as homework. Take a picture of this one.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So we're going to see another way or another graphical method of representing a grouped frequency distribution, which means a grouped frequency distribution can be graphically represented in two ways: histogram, frequency polygon. A grouped meaning a a frequency distribution that involves class intervals. Grouped meaning a frequency distribution that involves class intervals. A grouped frequency distribution can be represented graphically in two ways. One, histogram, which we just finished. We saw the different ways in which the table can be given and what changes we have to make before we prepare the histogram. Now this is the other one, frequency polygon. Another representation, graphical representation of a grouped frequency distribution. Let's see how to make this. Now a frequency polygon can be put up using the histogram and without using the histogram. So that will be mentioned in the question. If you're asked to prepare the frequency polygon with the help of the histogram, that's one type. Without the help of the histogram, that's another type. So frequency polygon can be prepared in two ways. Frequency polygon, which is another graphical representation. Frequency polygon is another graphical representation of a grouped frequency distribution. Now this frequency polygon can be put up in two ways. You can prepare this with the help of the histogram. You can prepare this without the help of the histogram. So which way are you supposed to prepare the frequency polygon will be mentioned in the question. Will be mentioned. If nothing is mentioned, without the histogram, mostly it's mentioned. Otherwise, you can use anything, I should say. You can do anything. If nothing is mentioned, you can use anything, but the preferred is without the histogram. Okay, so this is what it is. So the data, the question is like the will be similar to what you will have in the case of a histogram. So you will see a frequency distribution showing class intervals and frequencies. Frequency distribution showing class intervals and frequencies. So see here. Now this one, all of you must prepare and share the photo. If not now, at the end of the class. Soon after the class, if I get it, I should get it within 5 minutes after the class ends. Otherwise, I will assume that you've prepared it and don't send. So if we wind up at 8:45, by 8:50, send your photos. This one and the other ones which I'll be mentioning. So you can see here.
Can I send in the middle of the class too if I'm preparing?
No, it's difficult for me to check. I've been getting so many messages, so do it so that I will check the messages that come after 8:45 for me. Don't do it now.
Okay, ma'am. I'll share after the class, ma'am.
Yeah. All right, children. So you can see here. Yeah. In this particular question, we are asked to prepare the histogram and the frequency polygon. Here we have to prepare the histogram and the frequency polygon. And the frequency polygon, it's okay. Only when I show you the other questions, you may understand. Just a second. Okay, I have not included those questions. Maybe next class I'll show you then. Fine, nothing. Nothing that I can't say now. So sometimes you will be okay, fine. So what is given to you is a frequency distribution. And say you're asked to prepare only the frequency polygon, not the histogram, only the frequency polygon. Now this frequency polygon can be prepared with the help of the histogram and without the help of the histogram. You can use any method. If not specified, you can use any method. But if nothing is specified, we mostly prefer the one without the histogram. Why do you want to put the histogram when only the frequency polygon is asked? So straight away only the frequency polygon. In fact, any method can be used. So that's what it is. I don't have a question like that with that heading. Maybe I'll show it in the next class. Nothing, there'll just be this mention. Prepare a frequency polygon with the help of a histogram. Or the question will be prepare a frequency polygon without the help of the histogram. That's all. Or if it is simply prepare the frequency polygon, you can choose any one. All right. So here we have to. Yes.
Ma'am, I can't understand that frequency polygon.
Yeah, you will understand in the next 10 minutes. I'll tell you. So here you see a table with class intervals and frequencies, as we see for a histogram. Class intervals and frequencies. Now, how do we put up the histogram? X-axis, Y-axis. We need to show all these numbers 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, so on till 100. So you can see it on the X-axis 0, 10, 20, 30, 40 till 100. On the Y-axis, the scale, you can see the numbers here. The highest number is 10. The highest number is 10. So on the Y-axis, 1 centimeter is 1 unit. 1 centimeter, 1 unit. So 1, 2, 3, 4 goes on till 10. Now, how do you prepare the histogram? We've been doing that. For the following data, draw a histogram. How do we draw the histogram? So 0 to 10, 0 to 10, the height of the rectangle is 5 units. 0 to 10, so 0 to 10, the height of the rectangle is 5 units. So here. 10 to 20, the height of the rectangle is 10 units. So 10 to 20, 10 to 20, the height of the rectangle or the bar is 10 units. So you go on like that. So when you finish the last one, 90 to 100, the height of the rectangle is 9 units. 90 to 100, 90 to 100, the height of the rectangle is 9 units. So we are done with the histogram. So we've answered this part. Draw a histogram. We are done with that. Now next we have to prepare a frequency polygon. To get the frequency polygon, all that you have to do is mark the midpoint of the top line segment of the rectangle. So see, this is the rectangle. This is the first rectangle. This is the first rectangle. This is the first rectangle. This line segment. Mark the midpoint of this line segment, which is nothing but a class mark. 0 to 10. The mid value here is 5, right? 0 to 10. The mid value is 5. So mark that 5 here. The class mark is 5. So what you're going to do is take up this line segment. Take up this line segment on the top of the rectangle. Mark its midpoint. So this is 1 centimeter, right? This is 1 centimeter. So 0.5. Mark it here. Then the midpoint of this line segment. The midpoint of this line segment, this one, the top of the bar, the top of every bar, midpoint, the top of the bar here, midpoint, the top of the bar here, midpoint. It's 1 centimeter, children, so everywhere it will be at 0.5. This one, midpoint. I hope you understand. This one, midpoint, this bar, the top of this bar, midpoint. I'll tell you about this.
Ma'am, means that midpoint of that bar, ma'am.
This one will be 1 centimeter, right? So at 0.5. This also will be 1 centimeter, this one here. So it's actually 10 to 20. The class mark is 15, which is marked here. What you mark here is 15. It's nothing but the midpoint of this line segment. Once you mark the midpoints, join the midpoints in order. In order meaning not randomly. So join them in order. So when you start here, you will not be starting from here, children. You will not start from here. You would have marked this one. This is the midpoint of the first bar here. You will be joining this to this one, the second one. This is the third one. See here, you'll be going like this. Use a scale and a pencil. You have to start from here. You'll have to start from here. This is you would have marked this midpoint here. So this midpoint and this midpoint join with a scale. Then this midpoint and the next one join consecutively, one after the other, children. not randomly. So this one and this one. Then from here to here. Then till here. Use a scale. It will not be a straight line. There'll be breaks. You'll have to join from here to this one, and then from this to this, then from here to here, then from this to this to this, like this, then go up like this. Finish this and tell me. I'll tell you how to get this line. Finish this and tell me. Yes, Shreyas? Can you do it, Shreyas?
Ma'am?
No, should I be more clear? Shall I repeat it?
No, ma'am, understood.
Okay. Children, you will be starting from here. Here, you will not get this one. I'll tell you how to get this. You will start from here. Join, use a scale and a pencil, join. And you will be stopping here. You will join this and this and you will stop here. I'll tell you how to get this. You will be stopping here. Let me come back in 5 minutes, children. Please do your work. Yes, what's the status? Midway or on the verge of completion?
Completed.
Going
ma'am.
to
Completed. Completed, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now what I'm going to tell next, please listen carefully. I think it's better you do it as I say than me giving you all the instructions and then asking you to do it. Okay. Shall I start? Have all of us finished?
Yes,
Or
ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
should I wait for anybody? Please voice out. Okay, so looks like all of us have completed. So children, I told you, so you had to mark the midpoints here, the line segment on the top of the bar, the midpoint of the line segment on the top of the bar like this here. And you had to join the consecutive midpoints using a scale and a pencil. And we are done with that. So you have stopped here actually. You don't have this line segment. You shouldn't have this line segment. Also, you shouldn't have this line segment. Now let's see how to finish it. So what you do is mark the next one, children. After 100, the next centimeter will be what? After 100, the next centimeter will be what?
110.
110.
100.
Mark 110, children. Mark 110. If you've already finished your x-axis there, just rub it, pull it. Pull it and see that you can mark the next centimeter as 110. Do that. After 100, show 110, all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what is the midpoint? Which will be the midpoint of the class interval 100 to 110 on the x-axis, right? See here, 100 to 110. That line in the middle. Mark that. Mark a point there. 100, 110. After that, the mid value of the class interval 100 to 110 is 105. That line 105. Keep a point there. Keep a point there. Here 105. Between 100 and 110. This is 105. Keep point there. Join this point to this point 105. Join this point. Join this point to this point 105. Because that is what is
Yes,
expected in school. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
From here, join this point to this marking here 105. Is it over?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now what you do on this side, produce your x-axis. Produce your x-axis. You can also pull your y-axis a little down like this. Pull your y-axis down like this to show a little of the negative side and the x-axis to show a little of the negative side. Just a little, just pull a little and mark -10. Mark -10.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I said just extend your graph to the negative sides like this here and here and 0. So this will be -10. -10. What is between 0 and -10? -5. Keep a point there. Between 0 and -10 is -5. 0. The previous centimeter is -10. -10. The mid value is -5. So join this point. Actually, you don't have to come to this side, the negative side, because marks it's irrelevant, right? The negative side, because there's no negative marking. The negative side is irrelevant. So what you can, but it's you can join it also. What you have two things, you can do two things. So actually for this, you can do what your teacher says. What you need to do is you have a point here and the other point here at -5. I told you pull this, mark -10 here. So the mid value is -5. So keep a point at -5, -5. Now this point, join this to -5, but don't come down completely. When it hits this y-axis, stop there. I hope we understand. If your teacher asks you to pull it till the negative side, fine. Or you can stop it midway like this without extending it to the negative side. Both the ways are fine. The point here is, this is the point. On the
Ma'am,
first,
the connection. Can you explain it again?
yeah, sure. From where do you want me to say? From the extension of the x-axis to the negative side?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so pull the x-axis to show a little of the negative side. Mark -10. So this is 0. The centimeter, the immediate centimeter here will be -10. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now between 0 and -10 will lie -5, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So use a scale, join this point to -5. But don't complete it. Just put your ruler from this point to -5. Start start connecting, but stop when you meet the y-axis like this. Don't enter the negative side. Don't enter the negative side because marks don't extend. There's nothing like negative markings here. So it starts only from 0 to 10, which means the marks don't extend to the negative side. It is okay if you join this point to -5, it's fine. Otherwise, as you try to join, you can stop when the line segment hits the y-axis like this. You can stop here. If you extend this, it'll come to -5. If you try to extend this will come up to -5 here, -5.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So I said on this side, after 100, mark 110. Between 100 and 110 is 105. So you need to join this midpoint to 105 here. So you will get a line segment down like this. And on the other side, extend the x-axis. Extend the x-axis, and you can also extend the y-axis a little. Now on this side, the first centimeter here will be -10. Between 0 and -10 is -5. So now we need to join this point and this point at -5. You try to join using a scale, but stop, don't enter the negative side because the details are about marks and number of students. And the marks, there's no negative marking here. So it's irrelevant if you pull it to the negative side. However, it's okay. If you pull this and join it till -0.5 is also fine. So understand, you can do both, follow whatever your teacher wants you to do.
Ma'am.
So one second. So this is how we, supposing the question is, children, for the following data, draw a frequency polygon with the help of a histogram. This is how we do it. Now here the question is, for the following data, draw a histogram and a frequency polygon. If the same question was, for the following data, draw a frequency polygon with the help of a histogram, this is how it will be. You have to make the histogram and then take the midpoints like this and join to get the frequency polygon. These dotted lines indicate the frequency polygon. Polygon is a closed figure made up of line segments. This is the polygon. This is the polygon made up of line segments. This is the polygon. The polygon is closed with respect to the x-axis. It's a closed one. It's not only these dotted lines. It's closed with respect to the x-axis. This is the x-axis. The polygon is closed with respect to the x-axis. So I said, if the heading was draw a frequency polygon with the help of a histogram, this is how it's going to be. You're going to make the histogram first and then, these dotted lines which represent the frequency polygon. This is exactly what it is to draw a frequency polygon with the help of a histogram. Yes, Shivani?
Ma'am?
Yes?
Ma'am, I had a network problem, so I have left. I don't know what happened for past 5 minutes, ma'am.
Shivani, I'm just about to wind up. Can you just help yourself with the meeting recording?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, last time. I'll try to send it today.
Okay,
By
ma'am.
10, I'll try. Yeah, please use the meeting recording. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is how it will be to put up a histogram. To put up a frequency polygon without the histogram. This is a frequency polygon without a histogram. Draw a frequency polygon without a histogram. Let me just explain this so that you can finish it by yourself later. So here, construct a frequency polygon for the following data. So see, it's just construct a frequency polygon. Now, no mention with the help of a histogram or without the help of a histogram, no mention. So you can choose to do it like this. Make only the frequency polygon without the help of the histogram. So how do we do this? So see the information given to us. We have a frequency distribution. We have a grouped frequency distribution. 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, and so on. We have a grouped, meaning involving class intervals. So we have a grouped frequency distribution showing the class intervals and the respective frequencies. Now for this, we need to prepare a frequency polygon. We need to prepare a frequency polygon. So when you have to prepare a frequency polygon without the histogram, this is the procedure. The first column is the same, age in years, the same thing. Then the last column, you see the frequencies. You need to create this column, class marks, which is the mid value of every class interval. So how do you find the class marks? 0 plus 2 by 2, 2 by 2, which is 1, 2 plus 4, 6 by 2, 3, 4 plus 6, 10, 10 by 2, 5, 6 plus 8, 14, 14 by 2, 7, 8 plus 10, 18 by 2, 9, 10 plus 12, 22, divided by 2, 11. So like that. Find the class marks. How do we find the class marks? Lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. Lower limit plus the upper limit divided by 2. So the class mark for 10 to 12 will be 10 plus 12, 22, divided by 2, 11, 22 by 2, 11. Now we need to plot these points, children. So see here, to get the frequency polygon, we need to plot the points 1, 2, see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, that is class mark, frequency, class mark, frequency, class mark, frequency, 1, 2, 3. It's not the other way. It's not frequency, class mark. If you put this class mark column here and by mistake you do 2, 1, you're wrong. Frequency must be taken along the y-axis and class marks along the x-axis. Class marks must be taken along the x-axis and frequency along the y-axis. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so on till 17, 1. So we need to plot all these points. We need to plot all these points. So on the graph paper, x-axis, y-axis, look at the points to be plotted. Look at the points to be plotted. So 0, you just have to show the, the class marks along the x-axis. Just show the class marks along the x-axis. Simply show the class marks along the x-axis. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19. Take one extra. I'll tell you why. Take one extra. I'll tell you why. And along the y-axis, see the values along the y-axis. Very simple there. 1 to 9 we have. So you can 1 centimeter, 1 unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plot the points. You will not get this point. The first point is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. You know how to plot the points. Plot the points, and along with these points, you need to also plot. Children, tell me that class interval which will happen before 0 to 2. Before 0 to 2. Tell me the imaginary class interval before 0 to 2. No, somebody said, but I did not. Minus?
1.
Minus 1, 0.
No, I want you to say the class interval, the imaginary class interval before 0 to 2.
Minus 2 to 0.
Yeah, minus 2 to 0. Minus 2 to 0. And what is the imaginary class interval after the last one? The last one is 16 to 18. What will be the class interval after that?
18 to 20.
18 to 20. 18 to 20. So consider these imaginary class intervals. One before the first one and one after the last one. So before this, going by the rhythm here, 0 to 2. So the earlier one should be, see, it's not possible, it's a different thing. But we need to complete the polygon. It's a polygon, it's a frequency polygon. A polygon is a closed figure made up of line segments. So we need to close it with respect to the x-axis. So we have to take the class interval earlier, prior to this one. So minus 2 to 0, minus 2 to 0, and one after this one, 18 to 20. Now, you can just write that with a pencil. Just make a note of that right here, children. Above this one, use a pencil and write here, minus 2 to 0. And use a pencil and write 18 to 20 here after this one, 18 to 20. Write that. So what will be the class mark of minus 2 to 0, children? What will be the class mark? What will be the class mark? Minus 2 to 0. Minus 2 plus 0 by 2, which is minus 1. The class mark will be minus 1. The class mark will be minus 1. What will be the frequency? 0. The frequency will be 0. It's an imaginary class interval. There is no value there. So 0. So you have to plot the point minus 1, 0 also. So that's what you see here. You should also plot the point minus 1, 0. The imaginary class interval before this one is minus 2 to 0, whose class mark is minus 1. Whose class mark is, see, you should be writing as I'm telling all this. Simply if you sit and listen, maybe I have to tell it many a times. As I'm saying, you must be making a note of it. So the class mark is minus 1. Frequency will be 0. So minus 1, 0 is another point to be plotted. Minus 1, 0. So see here, -1, 0 is plotted. And then the last one is 18 to 20. What's the class mark, children, of 18 to 20? What's the class mark of 18 to 20? Officer hungry, is it? What's the class mark of 18 to 20? 19. Thank you, Satvika. So, no, that was Sangamitra, I think. I don't know if it was Satvika or Sangamitra. Fine. Who was that? Sangamitra. Okay, thank you, Sangamitra. So 19. The class mark will be 19. 19 and the frequency, that's an imaginary class interval. So frequency is 0. So 19, 0 is the other point to be plotted. 19, 0. That's what you see here. -1, 0 and 19, 0 are the points which we get out of the imaginary class intervals. Otherwise, see here, 1, 2 will be here. And the last one, 17, 1 will be here. The polygon it's a polygon, but it's hanging in the air. A polygon is a closed figure. So only when you mark -1, 0 and 19, 0 can you close the polygon with respect to the x-axis. Now you'll have to just join. After plotting the points, simply join the points in order. In order. So from here to here, then from here to here. So go on like that and get the frequency polygon. All right, children, you may take a screenshot of this one. And that's it for today's session. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please stay back. Take a screenshot.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, children.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Thank you,
children.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, I cannot see the screen sharing also, ma'am. It's very poor, ma'am, my network. So,